Hi, it's Jenny with Cozy 101.1, and we are celebrating OctoBRA. And it's not just about breast cancer awareness, it's breast cancer action. Want to make sure that you're scheduling that mammogram, taking control of your health, and being your own advocate. And wouldn't be possible without these amazing people. Jane Jachowicz of UC Health, the breast cancer nurse navigator. Thank you so much, Jane, for taking the time today. Why don't you start
Good
off
to be
by
here.
telling us kind of what your job entails?
So my job entails community education. It involves reaching out to people before they've even had questions about getting a mammogram or about breast health. So if they have questions about high risk community education, then I bring them in and we have them either see one of our providers for an issue they might be having or talk about screening mammograms. And then if there is an issue or if they are diagnosed with breast cancer, then I come in, meet them, guide them all the way through. I tell my patients, you'll be a friend of mine for 30 years. So we get them through the cancer diagnosis, we get them through survivorship, and then they often become the local expert for their friends, and we get referrals that way. So my job is all encompassing prior to any breast health issues, through the diagnosis, through survivorship, and then back into the community after.
So we've been talking a lot about early detection because a lot of the times if you can get it early, it's way easier to treat. And having that where you're your own advocate, you can do a free exam on yourself, but knowing your body enough to say, hey, something doesn't feel quite right. Like, have you had a lot of that instances where women are like, I just wasn't sure, or and then come to find out that's exactly when they needed you to come into their lives?
Correct, correct. We advocate for people to do breast exams, and that has come and gone as far as research. But women know their own breast tissue, right?
Yep.
And so if you feel something, we'll check it out. That coupled with screening mammograms, if you're high risk, you start at 35. Otherwise, you start and have annual mammograms starting at 40. And so if you're younger than that, that's even more important to do a breast exam and to get to know your body. Does something feel weird? Is it the breast? Is it also the armpit that you should be examining? All of that area. And so being aware of your body and taking charge and knowing if something feels different and having it checked out. If it's not cancer, great. But if it is, catching things early, that is the key. Having the clinical breast exam by a provider, self breast exam coupled with mammogram, or if you're high risk, there might be ultrasounds or MRIs in there. But catching things early is the key. It saves lives. Treatment is much easier. It is less invasive to your life when you catch things earlier. There are some that are very aggressive, and we take it from there. But for sure, it is advantageous to be aware of your own body and talk to your providers.
And they were saying 1 in 3 women are not getting screened for breast cancer. That
Right.
is absolutely unfortunate. But there are different community organizations and places that they can go. And I think maybe it's a monetary thing. Maybe they don't have the insurance, but there are resources out there. Like if you do feel like there is a potential for something to be wrong, like you should be able to find somebody that can assist.
For sure. There are programs in Denver. Even if you have no problems, screenings with most insurances are free. If you don't have insurance, there are programs usually linked with the individual public health departments. If you find lumps, there's grants that can help fund that. And there are programs that we can get you financial assistance if something is found. But yeah, 1 in 3 women aren't getting mammograms. At UC Health, we did 28,000 this year, and that still is, not reaching 1/3 of the people, right? And there's a lot of places in town to get them. And, if you look at roughly 13% or 12.5% of women, 1 in 8, get breast cancer. And so, the easiest thing to do is be aware of your body and get a screening mammogram, even if you don't have anything. We can catch things so early, stage 0, just little tiny calcifications on a mammogram. And so, how can we raise the energy, raise the awareness to get that message out for people to get screened or to talk to their provider? Then, like the events that we have on Sunday.
And there is one crazy thing that we've been talking a lot about this year because Murphy Houston, who of course was on Cozy for ever and a day, he actually had breast cancer. It's not just women. Like you
Right.
got to be, even if you're a man and you feel a weird lump, you're like, it's not. It shouldn't be a taboo thing to go and get checked out. And always to talk to a doctor because if you go onto Dr. Google, it's going to be scary.
For
Like
sure.
every time you go
Yeah.
into Dr. Google, I'm like, I don't like that rabbit hole. That's scary. So it's
Yeah.
nice to be able to find a provider that you trust, a
Yep.
company as such as UC Health that has a lot of this experience and they have the statistics and they have the things. And knowing what a mammogram is, I remember the first time I went in for one. It's a little scary. It's a little daunting,
Yep.
especially when you go in for what's a basic screening one, and then for me it was like, okay, we're gonna do an ultrasound and things like that. But I will say that every nurse, every doctor, every like screening tech has been so amazing because they go through it and they know
Yeah.
exactly how to help you at that stage. And you're going to need that. You're going to need, if it is something, God forbid, then you at least need like that tribe that's behind you.
Yeah, yeah, it is truly a special place to come into a women's center or a women's imaging center or a breast center. Like you said, it's not just women, but there is this special touch that we all understand. I mean,
Yep.
1 in 8 women, there's
Yeah.
more than 8 of us that work here. So we all are touched by that. And, if you go in and you see the machine, there's certain things you can do to gain your own control. If you
Hmm.
think it's going to hurt, you can take a Tylenol or an Aleve or an Advil before.
Yeah.
You can ice your breast all the way up until the moment they give you the mammogram if you feel it's going to hurt. You can do it after your cycle so the pain is less. Doing it right before menstruation, is going to cause extra pain. So the timing of that, how can you control that? And so it's not so scary coming in knowing you're making a good choice, you're taking care of yourself. It's meant to screen, it's meant to catch things early, so having that power can really help you get through that scary phase. And talking to the people there, we all get it.
Oh yeah. Well, bringing a friend, like going with your friends, with
Yeah.
as a mom, as a sister, as an aunt, as a niece, like that's something that I think there's power in numbers. There's power in that strength and comfort. And if you do go, just know that those women that are there for that day, they could be your friend, they could be your niece, they could be your aunt. It's just one of those communities I feel like that is really strong. And I'm glad that we are starting to not just wear the pink, which I love pink, don't get me wrong, but it's not just about wearing pink. It's more about that awareness, which leads to action, which leads to saving lives. You think one person that gets a mammogram early and detects it early and their life is saved. That's why we do this at Cozy, and that's why I know you guys do what you do. We want to save as many lives as possible for something that's treatable.
For sure. And that's the power of pink, right?
Hmm.
So it can be very mentally disturbing for newly diagnosed. If they're diagnosed last month, coming into October can be very scary.
Yeah.
But if you guide through mental preparation and say it is because those lights on the buildings in downtown Denver are pink, it's because we're wearing pink, it's because the NFL, because it's all over the grocery store and bookstores, that we have the research, we have reliable things, we have people who are spending money to help with diagnostic mammograms. All of those things lead to more and more visibility, more and more funds available. Events like Sunday can really amp up the energy, create this bond with people, and really make sure that people are feeling camaraderie as far as being a woman or having a diagnosis or seeing men out there who are wearing pink, either because they've had it or they support their buddy. It is the power of that color this month is wonderful, but it doesn't, it goes much beyond the color. But feeling that empowerment and feeling you know the energy and the amping up on Sunday, you
Yeah.
just feel like I want to go get my
Yeah.
mammogram.
Yeah, you're like, "Okay, you're part of, like, this big group that's doing something great, that's making this
Right,
big message out there." And how
right.
do they join and help on Sunday if they wanted to?
So you can go to the American Cancer Society Making Strides Denver page and sign up. It is at the Trivoli Quad campus, and the walk starts around 10, but there'll be vendors there. I'll have a table there, and we will talk about various things. If you come talk to me at the UC Health table, we'll talk about genetics, high risk. Happy to answer whatever questions. So if you get there early, you can talk to people. There's vendors that make T-shirts. There's a whole bunch of people
Yeah.
there. And then the walk is about a 2-mile walk. And there's music, there's cheerleaders along the way. The energy is so strong. We'll do a warm up beforehand. So that event on Sunday is going to be powerful. We're
So make sure
expecting
you
thousands.
follow and help all that you can. And we have a page up at kosi101.com/OctoBRA with a lot of resources as well. So you can reach out to people like Jane and her coworkers and wherever you are located to be able to make sure you get that mammogram scheduled. And again, doesn't have to be in October, but it's perfect at the end of the year if you've already hit your deductible and all the things that you're going to, do. That is one that I would add to your list as well. And again, Jane, thank you so much. UC Health, thank you for what you guys do and the people in our community that you save every day. We love you. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you. It's a passion. We're happy to do it.